we usually represent the length as the longer side. So the longer side is 14 and the short side, the width, is going to be 6. But notice 14, it doesn't say feet, it doesn't say inches, it doesn't say yards, it doesn't say miles, it's just 14 units. So whenever you're doing mathematics and it's a geometry problem and you just see a number, that the units would just be the word units. In other words, they're not specifying whether this is 14 feet, right, Robles? They're not specifying whether this is 14 inches. We don't know what it is, so what we just say is this 14 units. And you can actually count the units. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14 units. 6 units down. Look at it. 3, 4, 5, 6. So the area then, watch this now. 14 times 6 on my calculator. How much? That'll be the atom, huh? 14 times 6, let's see here. 84. But check this out now. Here's what I want you to understand, both of you. The area then is 84. What?
Units.
What kind of units?
Square.
They're squares, huh? And you can actually see the squares, gentlemen. Look at, there's a square here, square there. Now, I could spend a lot of time counting each one. 1, 2, there's a bunch of squares inside this rectangle. Look at, I'm highlighting them. Instead of just counting them one by one, we have a life to live. It's 84 of them. And the way I write it is this. 84. Look, I put units and then put to the second power. Whenever you see units to the second power, or let's say inches to the second power, they're talking about little squares. So 84 square units would be the area. Perimeter, on the other hand, when we're talking about perimeter, I just want to know how many units are around the shape. In other words, I want you to think of this. Watch. I want you to think of this.
Well, perimeter means the absolute shortest distance possible around a shape. That would be the distance you get if you trace the path exactly around the border or edge of a shape. A good way to see what perimeter is to imagine that you could walk right along the edge of a shape, like this 5-sided polygon.
It's right here. You got a 5-sided polygon? Whenever I ask you for perimeter, I want you to imagine this little cartoon. Watch. Look at this little monito walking around.
Imagine starting at one of the polygon's vertices and then walking along each side until you got all the way back to the point that you started
That's
from.
perimeter.
The total distance you travel would be the perimeter of that shape. In this case, if the length of each side of the polygon was 10 meters, the total length you would travel along all 5 sides would add up to 50 meters.
That's perimeter. Okay? So looking at that rectangle then, imagine that little guy walking around this. That little dude, he's walking around this. So 14 plus 6 plus 14 plus 6. And it's not going to be squares this time. It's just going to be normal units, what we call linear units. He walks this straight line, that straight line, that straight line. What is that going to be? You guys get that? 40? What'd you get, Robles? Did you get anything? You're too new, huh? You're too new to get some? Watch this. 14 plus 14 plus 6 and 6 is 12. Rocking it. 40 what though, Ariano?
46.
Square units?
No.
Nice, just units. The square units is when I'm dealing with area, how many squares inside that fill up a shape. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I like that. All right, cool. Let's go on to example 2. There we go. So here's the 5 shapes from that formula table. that I left for you on C15, on C15. Let's go ahead and, this is example 2. Go and draw the shape. Find the area. Go and draw this rectangle for me. Take a sip of my coffee. Woo! This is good coffee. Yikes. All right. So let me go to my formula table. Again, it's on C15. I left it for you guys on C15, not today's, but yesterday's assignment. Here we are. Area of a triangle, right there, this part. The rest of it is just how to say it. So the B means base, the H means height. Okay, all the formulas are right here, what I'm highlighting in blue. Everything else after what I'm highlighting is just, they're just giving you how to say it. Area of a circle is pi r squared. We're going to get into the circumference formulas. What does circumference of a circle mean? We'll get into that shortly. But I'm going to use area equals 1/2 base times height. Let's do it. Watch this. Let me write down the formula first. So far, so good. What would be the base?
The bottom spot.
But of the whole triangle, it's going to be this plus this stuff too. And we don't know that part. So in other words, the base of the triangle is from here to here. And just for our purposes, have you ever learned Pythagorean theorem, Robles?
Huh?
Have you ever learned Pythagorean theorem? It's okay if you haven't. A squared plus B squared equals.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever learned A squared plus B squared equals C squared?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that right now, but you don't have to be responsible for it. So I want to find this missing side of this triangle here. Okay. So off to the side, I'm gonna do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And if you forgot this, don't worry about it, because on Friday's quiz, I'm not gonna quiz you on this. I'm gonna quiz you on learning how to use that formula. So right now, just watch me and see if you remember. If you don't remember, it's fine, but just see if you do remember. What I'm gonna do is find out right there, this spot. Because the base of the triangle is a 16 plus that. So here we go. This is a right angle. 13 is gonna go right here, 13 squared. One of the legs is gonna go right here. And I'm just gonna solve for the other side. This is gonna be A. I'm not sure that rings a bell what I'm doing, but not. Does it kind of ring a bell?
Yeah.
How about you? Watch. Again, don't worry if you forgot this, because I'm not gonna put it on the quiz or your assignment. Let's see, 12 to the second power. That's 12 times 12. That's 144. 13 times 13 is 169. Let's get 8 by itself. I'm gonna subtract 144 from both sides. Watch what happens. A squared equals 169 minus 44. Hit it. What?
25.
Rocking it. Now watch. I want to get A alone. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. You may have remembered that or not. Again, don't worry about it. So A is equal to 5. So this little side is 5. Now I know the base. You with me, Robles? Let's do this. So the area, watch this now, is 1/2. The base is 16 plus 5. I want to say is 21 if my coffee has kicked in. The height, whenever, you remember yesterday's notes, Adriano, that you saw in the video?
Yeah.
Remember what I stressed? Whenever you want to find the height, it's always got to be, remember that word? That means 90 degrees?
Right angle.
Right. Perpendicular means right angle. So whenever you're looking for the height of any shape, it's got to be 90 degrees with the base. In this case, the height then is 12. 90 degrees with the base, the height is always 90 degrees with the base, no matter what shape you're dealing with. It could be a parallelogram or a trapezoid. You got to look for that 90 degrees. Let's do it. Watch this now. 1/2 times 21 That's the same as 21 if you make 21 into a fraction, it's going to be 21 divided by 2. Multiplying by 1/2 and dividing by 2 mean the same thing. So let me go to do that on my calculator. 21 divided by 2, I want to say is 12, or 11.5 rather. Yeah, it's 10.5. I'm bad with mental math. So I multiplied these two, it became 10.5. You with me, Robles? Now 10.5 times 12, let me see what my calculator spits out. 126. 126 what? Rocking it. Very good. Square units, because we're dealing with area. Remember what area means on the warm-up, the first one I did. It's those square units that fit inside the shape. Think about that. Remember this one, it's all the squares that fit inside a shape. So on this example, we're dealing with 126 square units. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's try number 3. A couple more and we're done. I'm going to draw the circle. Go for it. So we're going to find, this one we're going to find area and circumference. Copy that down. I replaced pi with 3.14, the radius with 7. Again, the key here, you guys, is to know that whenever the number is right over the center of the circle, they're giving you the diameter. But we need half the diameter, which is 7, the radius. So be aware of that. Sometimes problems will just give you the radius, but sometimes they give you the diameter. Now let's rock and roll. Watch. Area then. I got decisions to make. Should I multiply the 3.14 times the 7, or should I do 7 to the second power? What comes first? Nice. You ever remember, or maybe you learned, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally?
I heard of it, but I don't remember.
How'd you know that the second power comes first then?
Because I can see.
Good. And exponents always come before multiplication, so you always have to do the second power first. So it's going to be 3.14 times 49. There we go. Almost done, Robles. 3.14 times 49. There it is. Look at that's the area. I'm going to run the nearest tenth, the first decimal, so the 8. So I look to the right of the 8, it's 5 or bigger. So this is going to be 9, 153.9. $153.9 what? Nice. Okay. Now let's find the perimeter. In other words, let's find the outside of the circle. But notice I use the word perimeter. That's inappropriate. If I'm dealing with a circle, the outside perimeter is actually called that, because it's made up of pure curve. Other shapes, we call the outside the perimeter. But for the circle, we call the outside a circumference. It's got its own special name because, like I said, it's pure curve. Now, if you look at the formula table, Robles, can you give me the 2 formulas for circumference? There's 2 of them on that table there.
For circle?
For circle. There's 2 circumference formulas. Give me one of them. C equals what?
2
Go ahead.
and R, I don't know what that is.
That's pi.
Pi R equals 2.
That's it, that's it. That's the formula. The rest of it is just showing you what to say. You got it? 2 pi r is one formula. What's the other formula there, Ariano?
C equals
Pi times diameter. Done. Real quick, when you guys look at your formula sheet, Only the first part is a formula. Look at, so right here, watch. This is the formula right there. Everything else is just showing you how to say it. Okay, so you have two to choose from. That's what I'm trying to get at. What version of the circumference formula do you like? That's up to you. I grew up with this one. But you can multiply pi times the diameter if you want. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. I'm going to use the first formula. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to go green. So I'm going to use the first formula. Doesn't matter which one, I'm going to go first one because there's sentimental value for me. Circumference then is 2 times 3.14. The radius is 7. So the circumference then is approximately, look, I'm changing the equal to approximate because 3.14 is an approximate of pi. So 2 times 3.14 is 6.28 times 7. Did you get anything, Ariano? All right, so 6.28, I got it. Watch this. 6.28 times 7. I got 43.96. 43.96 units. Done. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So here's what we're going to do.